Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. So today is going to be a different kind of video. This is not going to be a makeup video. This is going to be a tag video. And this is one that Charlotte Holcroft, and I will link her video below. She did one, and once in a while she'll answer questions that you guys ask her. And she decided to turn this one into a tag video. And there's some questions that are like juicy or really inquisitive, and she decided to do that. She did tag some of her friends and any other creator that watches her channel and wanted to do this tag also. So she does not know who I am. Of course, she did not tag me, but I thought it would be a fun tag to do. So there's 10 questions, and the first question is, what was the worst day of your life? So I probably have a couple of those, okay? I can just say one. One really bad day in my life, it was when my daughter was 7 months old. I was only 20 years old. I had my daughter when I was 19. And when she was 7 months old, she got really sick. And she ended up in the hospital, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. She had a really high fever that it was very hard for them to control. And when you're going through tough times like this is when you find out who the real angels on earth are, and also who the people are that have no hearts whatsoever. When I was 20 years old, I was a much different person. I was very naive, very quiet. You could pull the wool over my eyes and, I wouldn't fight back too much. So my daughter, like I said, she was 7 months old. She was very sick. They thought she had spinal meningitis. She had to have a couple of spinal taps. It turned out to be she has some kind of an infection in her blood. It was something a little strange. I can't even remember what the exact diagnosis was, but she was in the hospital for like a week. But the first night that we were in the hospital, of course, she's a little baby. They had her like in a crib, and she was hooked up to an IV. And they strapped her down because, so she wouldn't pull her IV out or hurt herself. But the little baby cried all night. She did not stop from the time that they laid her down and strapped her down and hooked her up to an IV until the next morning. And I did ask the nurse if I could hold her, because, you can imagine how heartbroken I was. That was the worst experience probably is one of the worst that I've ever had. I couldn't do anything for my baby, and it was just heartbreaking because she would just exhaust herself to sleep, and then as soon as she woke up, she'd start crying all over again. When the shift changed in the morning, the nurse that came in, she was, of course, crying, and she goes, "Honey, do you want to hold your baby so that she can possibly calm down?" And I started crying, and I told her, I said, I asked the nurse at night if I could hold her. And she couldn't believe that the nurse did not allow me to hold her. But that was so bad. And the scariest part was not knowing what was wrong with my baby, having her go through all these tests that I know that were not comfortable for her. And it was just, my heart was broken. My heart was broken for her. And that was such a horrifying experience. I will never forget it. The other worst days of my life is probably the days that I lost my parents. I lost my mother first. My mother was diagnosed with stomach cancer, and she died within 7 weeks of being diagnosed. And we didn't even have enough time to grasp what was happening and accept it before we had to deal with her death. That was horrifying. My mother, thank God she didn't have to suffer long, but it was terrible. It was a terrible experience. It affected me so badly. I've always been, as I got older, I became the type of person that I could handle anything. I felt like, I had control of everything, and I helped my parents out, all the time, and they depended on me a lot. And I couldn't fix this for them, for her, or for them, because my father was very impacted by it also. And that was terrible. The day that I lost her, I was with her, and she basically took her last breath when I was next to her. And that was terrible. And then again, when I lost my dad, because then, once you realize you're an orphan, that is a feeling that tugs at your heartstrings, and it is so hard to learn to live without your parents, your loved ones. And yeah, those 3 experiences were the worst experiences of my life. What has been my biggest regret? My biggest regret was probably staying at a job that I disliked greatly. And I stayed because I made good money, because I can do it with my eyes closed. But I would say to anyone that is out there that has a job that you're not happy with, fix it. Don't wait. Don't get stuck. Go find something that you enjoy. I see my daughter, she's a special education teacher, and it's a hard job, guys. It is a hard job, okay? She only has 9 students, but I'm sure they equal 30. She doesn't do it for the money, because we all know teachers do not make the money, and especially if you work in private school sector, they even make less money than public schools. But she's passionate about it. She loves it. She was born to do this. That just brings joy to her. It brings a lot of stress, but it's also very rewarding, and she does it because of the love that she has for her profession. And I never had that. I stayed because of the money, because I made good money. I had good benefits. Basically I could take vacation whenever I wanted. So it did have its perks, but as far as the job, at times it was very toxic. And I'm a person that doesn't like drama, so it was not. And I was with him total of 28 years. So don't do that. If you're young, make sure that you find a job that you don't hate. And also, I regret not starting my YouTube channel earlier. I regret not taking that plunge. I wish I had. Because even though I don't do it for the money, because God, we all know that I don't have that many subscribers and I don't make that much money on my YouTube channel, I still love it. I love playing with my makeup. I love sharing it with you guys. I love the friendships I have made. And you guys are amazing. And I do it because I really do enjoy sharing my passion for makeup. What is your biggest fear or phobia? Probably something happening to my family, health-wise, accident-wise. I always want to keep my family safe, and my biggest fear is for something to happen to one of them. I'm not able to fix it. Now, as far as like a phobia, like a personal phobia that I have, heights. I am terrified of heights. I do not enjoy it. Now, being on a plane doesn't bother me because I guess because it's enclosed, the windows are little, I don't even mind looking out the window. That doesn't bother me. But like if I'm in an elevator that is all glass, I can't do that. I have to be staring at the front of the elevator doors, not looking anywhere. I'm still terrified because I know that all of this is open. Anything like that, like when we travel, if we there's like top of a mountain that my husband wants to go see, I cannot get close to that mountain. A very high bridge. I have a lot of respect for heights. I am terrified of it, and I do not like it. What is something that would shock people to know about you? I am very quiet. I'm an introvert. I don't like attention on me. If I'm in a crowd with strangers, I would be quiet. My husband will make friends anywhere he goes. He can talk to anybody. He can, about anything. It doesn't matter. There's no strangers for him. I'm not like that. I stay in my own little bubble, mind my own business. If I know you, of course I'll talk to you, make conversation. I know how to have a good time. But I'm happy being home. I can be home for several days and not go anywhere, and I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with that. So for me to be doing YouTube, and you probably say, well, how do you do that? Because I'm talking basically to myself, and I picture you guys because but you're not here. You're not here. You know what I mean? It's quiet. I'm doing this on my own, in my own space. It's different. It really is different. But yeah, I'm kind of quiet and I'm not very social. And even my husband sometimes he'll say, let's go do this. And I'll say, do we really have to? Because why are you so antisocial? I can't help it. What was the proudest moment of your life so far? I don't know. I've had a lot of proud moments, but probably more for others than for myself. I would say the proudest moment of my life is when I decided to actually have this YouTube channel, because like I said, I am an introvert and I didn't think that I would have the nerve to do this. You know, I think that it takes a lot to sit here and talk to yourself, talk to a camera, to leave yourself open for some comments that sometimes are not the kindest. I don't have too many of those because my channel is still pretty small, and 99% of the people that comment on my channel are amazing. You know, we're friends. They're there for me on every single video, and it means the world to me. But the fact that I actually took the plunge and decided to do this, I was very proud of myself for doing it. And yeah, I think that that's probably the most personal, proudest moment, is that I took a chance on doing something so out of my comfort zone. And I think when we do that, when we take that little step to do something that makes us uncomfortable, I definitely think that that's, you know, something to be proud of. What was the best day of your life so far? And I do have, again, a couple of those. When I had my children, when I had my daughter, when I had my son. I had my daughter when I was 20, and I had her natural birth because I was young and not so bright. And I decided I wanted to experience it. Her birth was 26 and a half hours long, and it was not fun. And they had to use forceps to get her out. Yeah, it was all worth it once she was born and she was in my arms. But wow, when my son was born, I'll take the epidural as quickly as you can give it to me, please. His birth was a lot shorter, a lot less painful. Even though the epidural only took on half of my body, yeah, I would still have a little bit of drama here. So I was numb half of my body, not numb on the other half. I'm feeling all the pain. They had to give me more drugs, and then I could barely breathe. And I thought, am I going to die before I see my son be born? Yeah, it was not the best experience ever, but again, once he was born, it was all worth it. So becoming a mom, definitely one of the best days of my life. And then when I became a grandma, you know, the love for your child is like no other, but the love for your grandchildren, you know, it's like the icing on the cake. You know, I was 44 years old when I became a grandma, which is pretty young to me. And I know a lot of women don't like to be called grandma. A lot of women don't like to admit they're grandmothers. I was proud of it. I could shout it from the rooftops. I thought it was one of the proudest and happiest days of my life. And I have 7 grandchildren, and to see each one of them be born has been amazing. To have a great relationship with all of them, it is something that is priceless to me, and I treasure, one of my biggest treasures. So those moments were the happiest of my life. The day that I got married, that was a really happy day too, okay? Still married, almost 51 years. Next month will be 51 years. I will do it all over again. I was very blessed with an amazing husband. He's a great dad, grandfather. He was an amazing son-in-law. He took care of my dad and really helped out with my mom too while she was sick. But he basically took care of my dad for 5 years. My dad was, you know, bedbound for the last, I would say like 2 years, and my husband did absolutely everything for him and never complained once. So marrying him is one of the happiest days of my life also. What was the most embarrassing moment of your life? Okay, one that stands out to me, I mean, I'm sure that I've had other ones, okay? But you know, some of them stick with you and some of them is like, you just get over it. But I will never forget, my husband had a motorcycle, and we used to go off on the motorcycle, you know, for rides and stuff like that. And one year we decided to go to Daytona. They were having bike week, and we were riding to Daytona. Well, we had to stop many times because my bum was like numb. I've never felt so much pain in my life. You know, it's not like I rode the motorcycle all the time. I was used to it. But anyways, we stopped at a restaurant to have lunch or something. And, you know, we were, you know, with a leather jacket and, you know, jeans and boots and, you know, looking all motorcycle stylish, you know. So we had lunch. After lunch, I had to go to the restroom before we got back on the bike to finish our trip to Daytona. And I come out of the bathroom and I'm feeling all, you know, I don't know, you just feel kind of special. And I love the feeling of being on a motorcycle. When you feel that wind, is so freeing. And I always thought I was going to be scared to death and I was going to like it. And I loved it. I really did. I enjoyed it a lot. It's just so much fun and so freeing and so relaxing. And it's like, it just takes you, your mind just clears and you just, I don't know, you just enjoy the moment. But anyways, I was feeling all, you know, the feelings and going back to the motorcycle and stuff like that. And when we'll start walking in front of my husband, after I walked through the entire restaurant and through most of the parking lot, past several people that I'm sure they all noticed, my husband tells me, honey, he goes, why? He goes, you had toilet paper hanging out of your jeans. Oh yes, that was embarrassing. That was very embarrassing. And actually another one that wasn't that long ago, that was probably like 6 months ago. My grandkids, my son's kids that are 11 and 14, they were doing bowling after school, and the bowling alley is not that far from where we live. So a couple of times that they went bowling, we went to meet up with them so that we can watch them bowl. And one of the times that we went, I got out of the car, was talking to my husband, wasn't paying attention. I tripped on, you know, the cement things that go in front of the parking space. I went head first, okay? I did cover my face because I didn't want my face and my head to hit the pavement, but I hit hard. But guys, when you fall down, okay, at least me, I don't care how much I'm hurting, I'm gonna try to get up as quickly as possible because I don't want anybody to see me. And a couple of people, they come up, oh, you all right? Let me help you. No, I'm fine, I'm good. Even though I was dying. I was in so much pain. I scraped my hands and my elbows, but I was okay, didn't break anything. But that's embarrassing. Falling down in public is very embarrassing. So those are the two that stick on my mind. What is the worst experience you've ever had with a fellow creator? Okay, that was a hard one. I really have not had a really bad experience with a fellow creator. I had an unpleasant experience with a fellow creator, and I'm not even sure if I want to answer that. So I'm going to explain what it is, but I'm also going to say that I really don't want to discuss it because people that follow this creator, you know, also follow me, and they may be able to figure out who it is, and I really don't want any drama. One thing about my channel, I want it to be drama free. But this is something that, if nothing else, hurt my feelings more than anything else. And I'm not going to name any names, but if you've been with me for a long time, you'll probably know what not the creator, you won't know who the creator is, but you'll know the company that it was with. It was probably like 3 years ago maybe. And I'm still friends with this brand. It's an indie brand. And, you know, she is the kindest person one of the kindest brands that I know out there. And she loves to do collabs with small creators. And we got together on doing a collab, you know, lipsticks. She released like 9 shades of lipsticks. And we did it together. I love lipsticks. There's one of my favorite beauty products. You know, to me, it's like, I can go without just about anything, but I love mascara. I love lipsticks. I think that putting a lipstick on can change how you look. So we did this collab together. I was able to name all the lipsticks, you know, and, you know, together, you know, we chose the shades and everything else. It was amazing. It was an opportunity that, who knows, maybe the only opportunity I ever get to work with a brand. It was painless. It was very seamless. It was beautiful and amazing. And I don't have a huge, I had even less subscribers then. So I did not make a lot of money from the collab, and that's not why I did it. I did it because the fact that, you know, I named 2 of my lipsticks after my granddaughters, and Kaylin and Alyssa. And the fact that I had that, the fact that I was able to work with this amazing indie brand, the fact that she thought about doing something with me, that's priceless. I don't do this channel to be rich or become, you know, make a lot of money. Trust me, I would have quit already. But it was just very special to me. And one day I received a phone call, like right after I did my video showing, you know, I did a video showing all the lipsticks and talking about them and the whole thing, talking about the collab. You know, this creator calls me, and we never really talked on the phone a lot. We were more like once in a while through Instagram, a message, or I will watch her videos, and not all of them, but I will watch some of her videos. She will watch some of mine. But I always thought there was some kind of, not a really close relationship like I have with other creators, that I feel like, you know, if I call them and ask them for a favor, I would never feel comfortable calling this girl and asking for a favor or anything like that. But I still thought we respected each other and that there was no animosity, and, you know, we supported each other. So anyways, she calls me, and, you know, she at first conversation is fine, and then she started, never once did she say, hey, congratulations on your collab. That was amazing that you were able to do this. Now, this creator actually did a group collab with this indie brand also prior to my lipstick collab. So she calls me and she starts complaining to me about the company, because the company, I guess, had talked to one of her other creator friends and have promised to do an eyeshadow palette with her. And I guess she decided at the time that she wasn't going to do the eyeshadow palette with this other creator, and that never happened as far as I know, because I've seen every release that she's had. So I don't think it was that ever happened. But maybe at the time it was more cost effective to do lipsticks than to do another palette. I don't know. I don't know what the reason was. You know, that wasn't my business. I you know, worry about what's happening here, and I don't want any drama. Have nothing to do with what's happening with that other person, and it had nothing to do with me. And, you know, I told her, I said, well, I feel bad, but that has nothing to do with me. It's the first time that I hear about it. And again, I have no control over who this company does collabs with. That's her decision. But anyway, she called me more to, you know, complain, and to, you know, I felt bad afterwards. And then I'm like, why am I feeling bad? That has nothing to do with me. It's not like I was even aware, and I talked the indie brand into skipping this girl and working with me. I had nothing to do with it. I was totally 1000% had no knowledge of that. But that kind of made me feel bad, and it made me feel like, why are you doing this to me? That is, to me, that was so thoughtless and just not right. I would never do that to someone. And I go through life saying that I treat others the way I want to be treated. You know, I don't know. I just never, I would never do that. And that really, my relationship with her changed then, where, again, I never wish anybody anything, you know. And this person, I pray for her all the time. She's had a very rough time in life, and I keep her in my prayers, and we do text each other once in a while. And that's why I don't know if I'm going to post this part of it, because, you know, I really don't want any drama. But that really hurt my feelings. And, you know, sometimes you find out who the people that really care about you are, right? Through something like this. I don't know. What has been the worst moment in your YouTube career? That's the last question, number 10. I really don't consider my channel a YouTube career. This is a hobby for me. I really have not had a bad experience with a brand because I've never really worked with a brand except for that one lipstick collab, and that was an amazing experience. But as far as a bad one, no, I really haven't had any. I mean, I do have companies that reach out. They want to send me PR, and the only way I accept PR is I'll accept it in exchange for an honest review. But sometimes they've even offered that they're going to pay me, and I say no, I don't do sponsorships, because in order for me to do a sponsorship, it will have to be with a company that I love, and I will have to test the product, make sure it works, like RMS, I wish, or Sydney Grace, or something like that, a company like that I absolutely 1000% love, and you guys know I love because I use their products all the time, talk about them all the time. But again, I wouldn't just do it blindly, like you're going to send me a brand new product and me not even try it and, you know, go on my channel and say, this is amazing, you need to buy it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sell my soul for a paycheck. And also, I'm not going to let any company put words in my mouth. That's just not the way it works. And a lot of them want to do that. A lot of them give you a script and they want you to do, it's an ad, commercial. And you know what? I don't need it. I really don't. So I would rather just do an honest review in exchange for the product. If it's skincare, you know, I want to try it for weeks before I can tell you whether I like it or not. Review Beauty sent me their last moisturizer. I want to use it for like 3 months before I tell you whether I like it or not, whether it works or not, whether it's worth the money. I know sometimes you guys, a couple of you guys say I'm brutal when I give my review, but if it's something is garbage, I'm going to tell you that it's not good. I don't want you to go and spend the money, okay? Because sometimes even things that work for me, you may buy it, it may not work for you. You know, I've had a couple of concealers that I have loved, and other creator friends have purchased it and they've told me, well, it doesn't work for me, it's a little drying or whatever. We'll have different tastes, different skin types, and everything is not going to work for everyone. But all I can do is give you my honest opinion of how it works on me. So really, that's about the only thing where they've asked me, you know, like they want me to, or they want me to purchase something on Amazon and then they'll reimburse me. So it looks like I made the purchase and then they're going to reimburse me. No, I'm not going to do that. I am not going to make it look like you made a sale when it's something you're going to reimburse. I'm not going to do that. I do not need money that badly that I'm willing to compromise. That's just not me. I do this because it's fun, because I love it. Yes, I do like receiving PR because it's nice to not have to purchase 100% of everything I show you, and to try new products. But I'm not gonna lie about them. You know, that one year that L'Oreal sent me products, you know, that was like 2 or 3 years ago. And in every box that they sent me, they say, true PR, they tell you do not have to review it. True PR. There's no expectations. And L'Oreal on every box, it would say, if you do decide to share with your audience, just be 100% honest and make sure you let them know that it was gifted. That's it. They never said, you know, and those are the companies I like to work with. You know, but I've had some that try and I say, no, I'm not going to do that. Or they want to use my video as an ad on their website. I'll say, no, I'm not getting paid for that. No, I'm not going to do that. So it's easy for me to say no because it's not that important to me. I can guarantee you that whenever I tell you that I love something, that I love a product, I really do love it. And if you purchase it doesn't work for you, I'm really sorry, because those were not my intentions. But if it's bad, I'll let you know that, you know, hey, I'm not crazy about it. By the way, my eye look today is another eye look with the new Makeup by Mario Nature palette. And I just used the taupey and goldy colors today. And like the mid-tone brown on my outer V. It was a quick look. It's only like 3 shadows on my eyes today. But I like it. And today I used a glitter glue and I have no fallout. At least, hold on. I didn't have it when I was finished. Nope, no fallout today. So I did use the Gourmand Girls glitter glue, which is really nice. It's like a gel consistency, and it's very, very thin, and it's not super sticky, but it did a great job. It kept all the glitter on my eyes, and yep, you can see I have no fallout whatsoever. So yay, the glitter glue does work. So those are my 10 questions. This was really fun. So I am going to tag some friends. I'm going to list them, because if I start rattling names now, I may forget someone. So I'm going to have it in my description box. If you are a creator, even if I don't list you, I hope that you do this tag. I think it's fun. It's always nice to find out a little more about each other, isn't it? So thank you so much, guys, for spending some time with me and listening to me gabbing. And I love you, and I will see you on my next video. Bye, guys. Mwah.